my friends. Welcome back to my channel, Diamonds and Washi. My name is Katie, and if you are new to my channel, hey, welcome. And if you're back, as always, welcome back. Today I am here to do a WIP and Chat with all of you, and WIP stands for Work in Progress, and Chat means that we are just going to hang out and chat a little bit. So you're welcome to pull out a project to work alongside me, whether it's diamond painting related or anything else crafty or not crafty. I'm just looking forward to getting to spend a little bit of time with you all. So before I dive into telling you all about what I'll be working on tonight, I have been super delayed on sharing some quick thank yous for people that have bought me a coffee. And excuse me, I don't mean literally bought me a coffee, but there is a service that's called Buy Me a Coffee that you may have seen other creators use. That it's just a way for people to make a one-time donation to support my channel. And it's absolutely never ever required, expected, passive-aggressively hinted at in any way, shape, or form. This is just a way for those of you that have asked for ways that you can support me in addition to watching my videos, which that is all the support I could ever ask for. Just watching my videos and interacting with them means the world to me. But this is just an option that I have available. Since we are towards the beginning of the month still, I will mention that I also do have a Patreon for those of you that would like to get some perks in exchange for supporting my channel. Lots of behind the scenes stuff. I do weekly vlogs. The top tier gets an exclusive live each month with me. I try not to talk about those options too much because I get a little bit funny about talking about money, but I know that some of you might want to see more behind the scenes and or support me in an additional way. So if you're interested in any of those things, I have them linked below. But let's get back to, I've had a few people buy me a coffee in the past few weeks and want to share a special thank you with them. That's how I extend my gratitude for the buy me a coffee option, is just by mentioning these friends in my WIP and Chats. So first, Sherry T bought me 3 coffees. Thank you so much, Sherry. And Sherry also wrote a note that said, love your content and all your dragons. Yes, give me all the dragons, please. Sherry, thank you so much for buying me those coffees. It means so much to me. And then Ellen, which Ellen, I believe she recently actually joined my Patreon as well, but she bought me 3 coffees and said, I love diamond painting along with you while watching Drills and Chills 2021. Yes, Drills and Chills videos. I also share your coffee addiction, so enjoy, Ellen. Thank you so much, Ellen. I really appreciate it. Yes, give me all of the coffee. Dragons, coffee, Drills and Chills. The 3 things a girl needs. And then finally, my very sweet friend Laura over at Anxiety Art Adventures bought me 5 coffees. Thank you so much, Laura. And she said, thank you for being you, love, and hugs. Right back at you, my friend. So I feel very well caffeinated today. I'm sorry that I got a little bit behind on sharing my thank yous for those, but thank you, my friends, so much. I really appreciate that. And anything that comes in through any revenue source for me, like buy me a coffee or Patreon or whatnot, I am really intentional about earmarking that to go right back into my channel, whether that's testing out new products for you guys, or occasionally if I need like a new piece of filming equipment so that I can make better quality videos, I am really intentional about earmarking that to make better content for you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into it. I am working on the kit Scars of a Mermaid. This is the kit that I was actually kitting up in last week's WIP and Chat. And it's Saturday evening right now. I'm filming this just a day or two before this is actually going to go up. But I thought this was good timing actually, because I think there's a good chance that I'm actually going to finish this kit tomorrow, which for me is Sunday. And I figured you guys didn't want to watch another kitting up video 2 weeks in a row. No, I thought this will be good. I'll WIP and Chat with you guys tonight so you can actually see me working on this project. So again, the name of this piece is Scars of a Mermaid. It is from Treasure Studios Art and has been legally licensed from the artist Nistique with an N. Nistique Arts over on Instagram. I'll link to their Instagram rather if you'd like to take a look. And has 40 colors, has round drills, and it's coming along. So for my pen, this is from Monarch Designs YEG, and the colors match super, super well. I've been using a few different pens on this kit. This is a thin metal multi-placer. This one's from the Sleepy Cat store on AliExpress. It's a 9-placer, and it's the thinner variety. The putty that's in here, and actually I'm going to try to refresh that really quickly because that's lost its stickiness, and I forgot to do that before now. I'm using the scented putty from Randa's Crafty Corner. Randa has a YouTube channel as well. This is the pumpkin spice scent, and it's just, I'm in the fall spirit. It's the beginning of October. I'm yawning. What else is new? And I was feeling very pumpkin-y. So in my single placer, I'm using Not Your Mama's Mud. And this is Granny's Special Apple Pancakes. I think I used this once before in a WIP and Chat. Was like special in quotation marks. I don't know what that means. This adorable minder is from Galloway's Gallery, which I believe she has still not been able to reopen, but I'm really, really hoping that she's going to be able to do so soon. And then this tray needs to be cleaned. This is from Unimade. Is this one Sakura Pink? I don't know. I have like 5 different pink varieties of Unimade trays. And I was lucky enough to snag one of the custom spots that opened up on the 1st of October. And I have a big old order that'll be coming in from them sometime before the end of the month. And I'm so excited. I actually sat down and I made lists, you guys. I made actual lists. Actually, I think it's in this notebook I have right here. But I went through and I made a list of all the colors that I have. So that I knew, yeah, here it is. I made a list of the colors that I have. And then I know that I won't accidentally buy duplicates. Look, this is just a thing that I do where if I find something that works really well for me, like in this case, this particular tray, give me one in every color, please, so that I can match it to my kit, every single kit. So, I think that in Randa's instructions for the scented putty, I think she said you could just press the multi-placer into it, but I was having some trouble with that, but I'm not the brightest crayon in the box, so I'm going to chalk it up to it being me just being really derpy with my putty loading. So the way that I typically do it instead is I just roll it really thin and then either use my fingernail or you can use like the blunt end of tweezers to kind of work it in there and then kind of scrape off the excess on the top. Anyway, are you guys like I am with some accessories where it's like as soon as you find a particular small shop that however they make that particular accessory, if it just works really well for you and your style of diamond painting, are you like, okay, now I need one in every color? Or do you have more self-control than I do? Yeah, I'm that way with like Lazy River pens, like Matt and Steph over there are just ridiculously talented, and I'm excited because they started showing previews for pens for their next drop, which I've kind of been interchangeably using these 2 pens on this kit because they both match color-wise. So this one is a Lazy River wood turning pen, and it doesn't have a multi-place or anything because I just move this one all around. But they're so pretty. Okay. So let me see. I kind of use my fingernail just kind of get that excess off. Okay. Let me grab color and we'll get started. Actually, my minder is just going to be keeping us company today because I just fully cut this off. That's fine. Little witchy kitty. So this kit, this is my fourth kit. Wait, yes, this is my 4th kit for Drills and Chills 2021 and is my first kit for the Festival of Witches, which is being an event that's being hosted by Lindsay over at Emeralds and Fairy Lights. And I think I'll have to check with her. I don't know that it totally matters because I don't think I'll enter for prizes or anything. I'm just entering, I'm just participating to support Lindsay in her event. But I think my next kit, which is going to be one from Oraloa, the name of it is Time to Witch, and it's a black cat, but I don't know if it would technically count for the Festival of Witches because I don't think the cat is wearing like a black hat or anything. But I should still have time to work on one more project after I finish that Oraloa kit before the end of October. And I'm really not totally sure what that project will be. I have a couple of different kits in my stash that will work, and maybe I'll just kind of try to narrow it down and then ask my patrons, my Patreon members, to help me decide. And just put up a poll and be like, you guys decide for me. Though, frankly, half the time when I do polls over there, somehow it still ends up being a near even split. And I'm like, really? Thanks, guys. Anyway, it's been interesting working on this kit because it's the first time I've worked on a TSA kit, Treasure Studios art kit, in almost a year. Was that last December, like November or December? Worked on Diana from Treasure Studios Art and had there were things I really liked about it, and then there were some things that were a little, I don't know about it, and so I had shared some feedback with them, and it looks like they had made some changes since then, so I thought I'll give them a try again. I'm really curious to see. Like, they licensed this really gorgeous artwork from Nistique Arts, and this one, I love the colors in it and everything, so I thought, let's give this a try. The drill quality is definitely better. I think it was probably a good move on their part to switch to these more standard round drills. So apparently they were having some quality issues and inconsistency of quality issues with the round drills they were using before. They had kind of a unique thing where their round drill kits came with round drills that were smaller than sort of the round drill standard size. It was something like, it was the same size as square drills. Square drills are 2.5 millimeters, and standard round drills are like 2.7-ish millimeters. That's why they're not interchangeable on kits. But Treasure Studios Art used to have their round drills. They had a manufacturer that made round drills in that smaller 2.5 millimeter size. But I think there was only the one manufacturer maybe that made them. And those drills, they were so bad. The quality was they were rough on the kit that I worked on last year. So by comparison, these drills are fantastic. Like the drill quality on this is really, really good. So I'm really happy about that. I'm generally having mixed feelings about the glue that they use. It's a mounted film adhesive, which I think is kind of just like a super strong double-sided adhesive, and it's just not forgiving. And after I unboxed this kit, I carefully rolled it back up the direction that it had been rolled when it came to me, and put it back in the box until I was ready to work on it. And I don't know if even how I rolled it up still, like, there's some wrinkles in the glue, some kind, like really slight bubbles. Like, I don't think it's going to show up on camera, but when I see them, I just kind of lightly scrape them with the end of my pen, and that takes care of them. They're small, but yeah, I'm a poured glue girl, I think. I like that, I'm not really worried about the drills falling off or anything, but it's a trickier adhesive to work with. I'll just put it that way. I think that there are probably some people that are really used to working with like double-sided adhesive and mounted film adhesive, but I think because I primarily work on poured glue, it throws me a little bit when I come to these. But it's been moving along pretty quickly. And like I said, I think I'll probably finish it tomorrow. As long as my headache kind of gives me a little break here. So I think it's partially the weather changing and partially just monthly hormones or whatever. But I just have had these headaches that are like right up kind of behind my eyes and in my sinuses. And I just am afraid I've been taking Advil often enough that I've landed myself in like a rebound headache cycle, which I'll have to then break. And it's really not fun at all. But I'm hoping that more the culprit is just the weather. Like we actually had some rain a couple of days this past week, which in Southern California, rain is pretty, like that's kind of an event here. And I feel like when there's sort of those air pressure changes that come with rain, that is a really major headache trigger for me. Even though I love the rain. You've probably heard me say it before if you've been around a little bit, but I loathe the heat. I hate being hot. I prefer like my winter clothes. I mean, hello, leggings, right? Like, who doesn't love being able to just live in leggings? Elastic waistbands for life. Yeah, ever since I was pregnant and discovered the magic that is elastic waistbands, my jeans only come out for special occasions. I used to wear jeans every single day, for a variety of reasons, including, a little bit of quarantine weight gain, a little bit of like starting antidepressants, anti-anxiety meds, like the weight gain that tends to come from those. I just, my jeans and we're on a break. Maybe we'll get back together at a later date. That's fine. Anyway, all this to say, like, I joke, but seriously, I feel like I have whatever the reverse of seasonal affective disorder is. You know how there are a lot of people that like in the winter months when it's like really overcast and dark and gloomy, that it saps them of energy and can be like an actual depression trigger for them. I feel so much more energized and just so happy about life and happy about being outside when the air has that like magical crisp feeling, and when the air smells like petrichor, and it's magical. And I feel like, okay, I can do all the things. How about I go reorganize my garage? How about I rearrange my kids' dressers? How about I do all these like errands? It's a real thing, apparently. So all this to say that I was so happy to have a couple of rainy days this past week. Now, granted, we don't get like the persistent overcast, gloomy days for months on end like a lot of people get. And so, I know it's not totally equal, but for me, it's a treat when it rains. However, what's not a treat about the rain? People that don't know how to drive in the rain. So because it so rarely rains here, when it does rain, it's like I'm afraid to go out on the roads, not because of me. I'm very comfortable driving in the rain because I grew up in Ohio. Like, I can drive in all kinds of ridiculous weather conditions. Literally, I was just telling a friend about this, and she was like, whoa, that's hardcore. So literally, when I was learning to drive, my dad would take me out to like our high school parking lot in the winter, and when it was kind of that in-between weather season where it got warm enough during the day that the snow melted, but cold enough at night that it froze again, like on the streets, and you ended up with, black ice and stuff. He would take me up to the school parking lot, like when it was empty, and he would teach me how to handle driving on ice. And literally he would be like, this is a safe place to practice. Like, let's practice what happens when you like when your car skids on the ice, like try to like do donuts and feel what it feels like to slide and how to come out of it. So I thought that was really smart on his part. And so I feel very comfortable driving in a lot of different kinds of weather. However, Californians do not, as a rule, like it's an exception, either people massively overcompensate or massively undercompensate. Like either people will drive like there's nothing, that the roads aren't wet and there's nothing different, or people will drive like, it's there, the floor is lava or something. Like there's no middle ground. So basically when it rains, I just stay home and I be a stereotype and curl up with my cozy blanket and my coffee and my diamond painting or a book, So we're getting into my favorite time of year. Also summer in California lasts through October. Like inevitably, like it always comes up in my time hop that like the last week of October or the first week of November, we have a week of like triple digit heat, as in Fahrenheit, like over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's like that's summer's last gasp, and then it cools off and it settles into what Californians think of as winter. So all this to say, I am loving that fall is finally in the air here. And yes, happy to have some of those cooler days this past week. But other things that have been going on, I was going to tell you guys about how Micah, I got to take him for his first speech therapy appointment this past week, and it went really well. It was at a center that I guess they mainly do, and their approach, kind of reflects this. They mainly do like outpatient rehab, like physical therapy, OT, speech and all that for people that have been like discharged from the hospital and still need to do like some rehab therapy, basically. And people recovering from surgery or whatnot. And so with that in mind, it was actually really nice because remember how last week I was all like, I'm dreading all of the paperwork and all of like just the assessment process, like that initial like intake and all of that just can be so exhausting. We had very little of that. It was the therapist was super just hands-on, like dive right in. She did some really minor like assessments with Micah, where, she like had like a book that she was flipping through and having him do stuff with. And, but then it was like just her assistant or whatever and her just asking me questions. I didn't have to fill out anything. And I said as much to her when we were done. I was like, to be honest with you, I was kind of expecting you to hand me like one of those 10-page like parent report assessments that I would have to fill out. And I'm like, it's kind of nice that I didn't have to do that. I wasn't sure if you were going to send me home with one. She's like, no, our approach is just to get to like the therapy as quickly as possible and make adjustments when we get in there. And I was like, okay, I'm okay with that. That's fine. So she had really good rapport with Micah and I liked her a lot. And so, wait, was that the right symbol? Yes. Okay. So I'm really glad that went so well. It was just a half an hour session for the first intake appointment. And I was also really, really happy because I felt like they got an accurate like picture of Micah, just in terms of like the way that Micah was behaving, the way he was interacting and all of that. I was like, yeah, this is pretty normal for him. Okay. Because it's super frustrating, but not at all uncommon to take your kiddo in for an eval like this or an assessment, and they're going to behave completely differently because they're around strangers, they're in a different environment, and so you feel like you have to tell the therapist or whoever to take take this evaluation like with the big grain of salt of like, this is not how my kid normally does. Like, they'll refuse to do things that you've seen them do a million times in a home setting, and then they'll like do things that you've never seen them do before and in an assessment setting. And I'm sure that I know that they're taking that into account, but even still, it's nice to go into that and to walk out feeling like, okay, they got a correct look at like where Micah's at as far as his speech goes. So she did say, she's like, normally I might suggest starting out with twice a week speech. And I said, well, is it okay if we do once a week? Because I kind of, at least starting out, because I kind of want to see how he handles it, like how he handles being on for that long. I might have mentioned this or touched on it in last week's WIP and Chat, but he's in preschool for 4 hours a day in the mornings. And then right now the way we have it set up is him then going to speech therapy for a half an hour in the afternoon on Wednesdays. And for a lot of kids, they go to school and then they come home and promptly like melt down, and you see some like acting out behaviors and stuff. And that's because home is their safe space, like their parents are their safe space, or they should be. And they've had to be like on, and like their brains have been working the whole time that they're at school. So I just want to make sure that I'm not trying to overload Micah with too much. And to be fair, the therapist was completely on board with that. She was like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. And given where he's at, I think that'll be okay. And I said, yeah, and he's getting some speech therapy in school. It's just more of like it's push in where like the speech teacher or the speech therapist is coming into the class and kind of working with the class or floating. And I'm looking for this one-on-one setting, outside of school to help supplement that. So I'm really glad that, she was like, yes, I think that, this private speech therapy would, really help Micah along. And I guess, of course, insurance always makes things interesting, but I guess the way our insurance works is that they approve like 5 sessions up front, and then the therapist will submit documentation, a week or two before the last session, just, requesting approval for more. She's like, they're very rarely are they only going to need 5 sessions, but it's just the insurance game that we have to play, blah, blah, blah. So she also talked to me a little bit about how she said she's working with one of the pediatricians in our medical group, and they're working on launching a branch to the here we have a big center called the Center for Autism and Neurodevelopmental Delays or Neurodevelopmental Disorders, or anyway, for things like autism, ADD, and other like behavior and learning related delays or differences. And I guess there just has been such a high demand at the one that's, there's the big center. It's like, I don't know, half an hour from us. It's where we had Connor assessed, and that's where he got his official autism diagnosis. And I was telling, the speech therapist, I was like, at some point we probably will want to have Micah like formally assessed and get a formal diagnosis, but at the moment it's not preventing him from getting any services, because we can't afford to add on like ABA or something like that outside of school. Like our copays are just so high. But he's getting a lot of those kinds of strategies in school. Anyway, all this to say that like he doesn't need a diagnosis in order to get services from the school, which is our primary thing right now. But she did let me know. She's like, well, the wait list is usually at least several months long at this point. So you might, if you're wanting to look at getting a diagnosis in the next year or so, she's like, I'd probably go ahead and call and get on the list. And then she did mention, she's like, oh, and I'm working with one of the pediatricians in the practice, and we're working on developing and opening like kind of a branch or like a clinic that sort of serves to supplement what the Center for Autism is doing. So sorry, I did that thing where I like kind of went on a really random tangent that involved a lot of like lingo and acronyms and stuff that I know that a lot of people aren't familiar with, but it's kind of it's what I live and breathe a lot with my two little boys. So I was really tickled that the speech therapist got to witness Micah's hysterical pronunciation of the word black. For whatever reason, I know that he can make the BL sound, like the blah sound, but like when we read the book Brown Bear, What Do You See? There is one of the animals is a black sheep. And Micah loves reading this book. It's one of his favorite books. We've had to like buy a replacement copy at this point because he literally like wore down the spine of the other. But for some reason, he, instead of pronouncing the BL in black sound as bull, he pronounces it like the F sound. Like, you can see where I'm going with this. And the best part is that he loves shouting the colors of each of these animals. So he'll be like, brown bear, red bird. So when he gets to black sheep, it sounds like my 3.5-year-old is screaming the F-bomb at the top of his lungs. Sheep. Blah! Insert F-bomb here. Sheep. Like, it cracks me up. And I had to explain to the speech therapist, I'm like, that's black. And she did chuckle at that. Just got to make sure that, you know, if Micah's reading this book, that I don't have the windows open, because otherwise my neighbors are going to think that like my toddler has a real problem with sheep. Like, yeah, F those sheep. So that's going in the notebook of like kids say the darndest things that I don't want to forget. I do have it on video as well, so that's fun. Anyway, that's Micah's shenanigans for the week. Connor's had a pretty good week as well. He's enjoying school a lot, and I love how he's coming home and like the stories that he has to tell and the friends that he's making. So it's just really neat. It's really, really neat to get to see that. I feel like generally his teacher is not as like she doesn't initiate communication as much, but I have to remind myself, like, Connor's getting older. Like, even though this is a special ed class, like, he's not in preschool or kindergarten anymore. Like, no, I'm not going to get super regular, like, reports from the teacher, like, just check-ins and stuff. Like, that's, you know, he's getting older. Of course, if I reached out to her with questions or concerns or wanted to check in myself, I'm sure she'd be happy to do that. But I don't want to be like the needy parent. Like, I'm sure she's super busy, and I don't have any like real actual concerns. I'm just like a lot of parents are, I'm sure. I'm like, just how's he doing? What's he doing during the day? Like, is he one of the good kids? Is he, you know, stuff like that, which I'm sure he's fine. But we are trying to settle into the routine of homework, though. That's been a little bit of a struggle, to be frank. I'm like, I already did this. I'm done with school. I didn't realize that I was going to have to do the homework slog all over again when I have kids. Oh, joys of parenthood. Speaking of joys of parenthood, I was flying solo this weekend. It was another weekend of Adam helping out with the film project. He should be home soon, I hope. They had a minor little crisis come up, and he had to like make a drive because like the tripod broke, like the tripod that they are using for filming. But he had a friend that was willing to loan them one, but like it was like an hour away. So Adam is taking care of that business, and I'm enjoying my quiet house. I'm excited that I've been moving quickly on this kit again. Man, there's just something that is so nice about the momentum of working on one kit at a time. It just goes so fast. I get the satisfaction of a finish. Like I think this one will have taken me, this will have been like a week-long project. 6 days, 7 days. Because I kitted it up with you guys last week, and I filmed that kitting up on Sunday evening. So next I'm going to be working on Time to Witch from Oraloa. I'm anxious to try one of their kits. I was excited to get into that Hannah Lynn that I had purchased and put up that unboxing video this morning, again Saturday. It's so interesting, their approach to ABs with those kits. And I want to talk about that for a minute, actually. I am formulating like a polite, just thoughts for email or something to send to the companies that I think this might be helpful for. But I am noticing this trend lately with some companies where okay, let's talk about ABs. This is going to be talking about ABs. I'm noticing this trend with companies lately where they're like, oh, now our kits have ABs. Or they like make a thing out of advertising like, look, our kits have ABs now, or lots of ABs. But then you get the kit, and I've unboxed a couple of different kits now from a few different companies. This is not targeting any one single company. Where the ABs that they have charted, they don't make sense. To be blunt, it almost feels like, this is the way that I almost picture it in my head, because it has me so confused sometimes when I see some of it. It almost feels like there's a chart or a program somewhere that is like, okay, these are the list of possible like AB swaps that we have, like 310 or something like that. And it's almost like when they chart the kit with the regular drills, it's like they just have some filter that goes through and was like, okay, these are the kits that we have AB swaps available for, swap those ones in, without actually looking at the artwork and the charting on the canvas to see if where those ABs will end up makes sense for the artwork. And I want to really respectfully and kindly try to communicate this is just my opinion. You are more than welcome to disagree. Please do. This is personal taste. It's just personal taste. I don't want ABs in my kits just for the sake of having ABs, just to say that they have ABs in them. I want ABs in places that make sense. And for me, what makes sense is where are the areas of the painting that you want your eye to be drawn toward. I kind of talked about this when I did my post review for the kit Pride. Because I added in a lot of ABs in that kit, because that was a really rare instance where I felt like Diamond Art Club, who usually I think that they do a fantastic job with charting their ABs. I thought that they really missed some opportunities with that kit as far as where they placed ABs. And I was kind of confused. I was like, this is not, what I'm used to from Diamond Art Club as far as AB choices go. So I talked in depth in my post review of that, where I talked about what my process was. And that was, I look for either what's kind of a focal point of the piece that you want to add a little bit of extra glitz to that makes sense. So like in this piece, for example, like, and I might do this, but she's wearing like this necklace. I haven't put drills down on any of it. It's over here, kind of where my hand is, that has like a star, like I think it's a pentagram on it, because she's a witch. And so like it would make sense for me to like swap those drills out for a metallic gold drill or something, or an AB yellow drill, because that's the kind of thing, it's an element of the piece that is important and isn't distracting to like make sparkle. Like it just makes sense. I don't know how to like best describe it. It's kind of one of those, like, I feel like you'll know it when you see it, like if something makes sense to add ABs to. On the other hand, like it would not make sense to just add random ABs into her face, like in her skin, you know, like that's kind of the difference. Like I don't want a random smattering of ABs like in her skin. That's kind of a counterintuitive place, in my opinion. Again, just my opinion. I'm on a soapbox. I promise I don't feel, I'm not trying to preach at anyone or anything. You could disagree with me. So I think that's one option in my mind. That's one thing I look for, is where does it make sense to highlight or accent? The other thing that I will look at is where is the light source in the artwork and what's it glinting off of? Like where's the light hitting and reflecting off of? Because for me, a lot of times it's wherever the light hits, that can be a really good place to add ABs. So like, here, I'll even show you, I'm looking at an example right now. Try to show you without breaking everything. So look at her tail. She's a mermaid, so she's got a mermaid tail up here. Okay. I'm so extra. You guys love me for it, right? Okay, so here, like this is where light is coming in and it's reflecting off of her tail. This would totally be a place that you could put in, like, swap these out for like white ABs or like a clear crystal or something like that. Maybe I suppose you can do some light purple or something, but like this is a place where it makes sense because that sparkle, like that's where you might expect to see light glinting. Does that make sense? Okay. So I guess what I'm saying is that if companies are going to do ABs, I want them to be intentional about it and not just throw them in willy-nilly. I have seen some wild things lately. If you haven't already, go watch Jessica at Tiny Worlds of Wonder. Please go watch her unboxing from her latest DIY Moonshop kit. And she already let them know, but I literally laughed out loud after I managed to pick my jaw up from the floor. So yes, so let's just, I'm hoping that this is just like a sort of growing pains thing. My guess is that maybe a lot of these companies, either the feedback that they've gotten or just what they're observing and what they're seeing from what people seem to want from kits, is that people like when there are ABs in kits. And so maybe they're like, okay, great, let's add some ABs. But I need them to take it a step further and be like, okay, let's be intentional about where these ABs are going to go. I recognize, though, that I think that inherently means some hand charting, and a lot of companies I don't think necessarily do hand charting. But I think you kind of have to do that if you want to add ABs in a way that makes sense. But let me know what your thoughts are on this, because this has just been really rolling in my head a lot lately. And it came in part from my unboxing that Hannah Lynn kit from Orloa, and the amount of black AB in that kit is insane. There's so much. All of the outlining in that kit. Over half of the girl's hair, all those things, black ABs. But I don't necessarily think that is the incorrect choice. And I think it might have been done that way intentionally, but it's so different from what I've seen other companies do. Like, it's a lot of AB. And those kits are, like, that one has, I think, like 8 ABs in it. Like, it's got all this black. It's like half that kit's going to be ABs. So I'd be really intrigued to get to that kit soon. I really want to know what the overall effect is going to look like with those. But yes, just let me know what your thoughts are on ABs and how you're seeing companies use them lately. I'm inquiring minds. Inquiring minds would like to know. So this week, I will probably have lots of unboxings again. That's just going to be that way till, the end of time at this point, I think. But I'm really enjoying getting lots of videos up for you guys. It's been fun. I've been loving getting to film while my kids are at school in the mornings again. Yeah, it's just, I like the natural lighting so much better. Other things going on this week, this is completely unrelated to diamond painting, but I think I'll probably finally finish up my massive binge of the TV show Supernatural, which feels very on theme given that we're in spooky season. But you guys, I don't know what put me on a kick, but I'm super into it. But I just started the last season and I'm like trying to stretch it out because I'm going to be so sad when it's over. Because I think I got to like the middle of season 10 or something, like years back. And yeah, and then I think I kind of stopped and I was like, I'll just binge the rest of it like once the show ends and it's on Netflix. But yeah, 15 seasons, you guys. But it's putting me in the mood to like go to cons again. Adam and I were lucky enough to go to Comic-Con in San Diego a couple of years back, and it was so much fun. And we saw the Supernatural panel both times that we went. The first year, I have video of it, like when we were waiting in line for Hall H, like for a really long time. Misha Collins, one of the actors from Supernatural, like came by and was like handing out like pizzas and stuff to the people in line. And then he was just like kind of like running along and running through the crowds. And he like touched my hand as he was like walking past me. A little bit of a fangirl moment at the time, but I'm an adult. It's fine. I can handle not being a fangirl, but it's just, there's something really fun about like Comic-Con and stuff like that. So it would be really fun now that our kids are a little bit older and whatnot, and once things are safer again in the world, and I feel like going to a convention of that magnitude isn't like a terrible idea. Maybe next summer it would be really fun to go again. And speaking of like being able to really look at like, as my kids are getting older and like more independent, like less, intensely reliant on me in the way that like newborns and young toddlers are, I actually am looking at doing like a little getaway, just me, I think in January is what I'm looking at. I'm still nailing down plans, but I'm really excited to just get away, just me, for a few nights. So I had floated the idea to Adam because something had just like come up in passing about it, and I sort of mentioned it to him like sort of in jest, like, oh yeah, that would be really fun. He's like, I mean, you can get away for a few nights. Look at flights, He's like, there's no reason we can't like legitimately look at this. And I was like, wait, really? And then I thought about it. I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess the kids are getting a bit older, like, and they're in school, so I can be gone like a couple of weekdays and Adam can still work and it's not like a big deal. And I was like, oh, a whole new world is opening up to me. So that's going to be really fun. And it's just, it's nice. It's nice to feel like I'm looking ahead a little bit, especially because I won't go into more detail right now. It's still a bit fresh, but I know that you guys, if you were around my channel this past summer and like watched my WIP and chats and stuff, I know that I shared mostly vaguely just about how I was going through an incredibly difficult time. And you guys, this past summer was so difficult in my personal life, and will possibly go down as like one of the worst summers of my life. But it is a relief to feel like I am coming out the other side and feeling a little bit more stable again. And, that's something I may go into another time when it's not quite so fresh, but everyone's fine. But it was a really, really difficult summer. And so I'm kind of feeling like I'm recovering from that and finally starting to be able to look ahead a little bit for things like this, like a getaway. And we're looking ahead to, do we want to travel for the holidays this year? And if so, I'm hearing that we should probably book our flights, back to see family for the holidays. But yep, it's about that time. What else is going on? Oh, speaking of family and the holidays, and well, I guess just family in general. So Adam's dad was out here with us, and ended up extending his trip sort of unexpectedly, which was completely fine. He flew back to Ohio this morning, but they found a house. So that is super, super exciting. They won't be moving out here until like next spring, summer. But that is exciting that happened, and that's coming. So he was a super low maintenance house guest, and the boys, oh my gosh, the Connor and Micah love grandpa time. It's so sweet. So sweet. We'll have lots of family, actually kind of like over the next month in general. My mom is coming out in a couple of weeks, which will be really fun. I don't think I had her on on any of my channel things last time. Maybe I'll try to pull her on for something when she's here in a couple weeks. And then Adam's parents will both be out here in like a month when they close and all of that. So it'll be nice to get to see Adam's mom as well. And then the holidays, and then it just, then the time keeps going. I already kind of know what the family visits are even going to look like next year. Like, my parents are going to rent a house, I think in Arizona for a month for spring training. And we'll probably drive out and spend, a week with them there, assuming hopefully it'll align with the kids' spring break from school. And it'd be fun to drive or fly out and spend a few days there with them. Connor, I think, would really, really love going to a baseball game. The kid's obsessed with numbers. My dad could teach him how to shoot. What do they call it? When you have the paper and you are tracking the game, what is the name of it? Oh my gosh, am I even a baseball fan? Nope, it's I'm gonna remember after I finish this video. That's fine. Anyway, I think Connor would really enjoy going to a baseball game, but I laugh at the thought of Micah sitting still for a baseball game. So maybe we'll go and I'll send Connor with his grandpa, and that would be a super sweet thing for them to get to do together. But all the family time. All right, my friends. So we are coming up close to this hour mark. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up and let you guys go. Look for lots more unboxings, and I have a sneak peek or two this week to share with you guys from Diamond Art Club, and other goodies to get into, and Drills and Chills video on Saturday again. If you were one of my giveaway winners from that I announced in last week's video. Thank you for emailing me. I am just woefully behind on emails. I will be in touch with you, and I will have your gifts in the mail very soon. But just wanted to throw that out there. Like, I haven't forgotten you if you're seeing this and be like, what the heck? Yeah. Yep. Anyway, let's see. If you made it all the way to the end of my video, we almost finished this section. We came close. I'll finish it after we wrap up. But if you made it to the end, how about a cat emoji in honor of our adorable little cover minder? Thank you guys so much for just hanging out with me. I love getting to do these WIP and Chats where I just get to kind of chat and catch up with you guys, let you know what's been going on here. And I always look forward to, if you are so inclined, share in the comments how you've been. Let me know what projects you've been working on and what you were doing as I chatted your ear off. And yeah, just let me know generally how you're doing. I know life can be tough sometimes, and want to make sure you know that you're never alone in those struggles. So yeah, thanks for hanging out. And if you made it all the way to the end and you're not already subscribed, you will probably like it here because you've listened to my voice for almost an hour. So feel free to hit the subscribe button and continue to hang out with me. I'd really love to have you. All right, my friends, if you have any questions, comments, snarky thoughts, the usual, go ahead and leave them down in the comment section below. And I hope you have a really, really wonderful start to your week. Stay safe, take care of yourself, and yeah, have a wonderful week. All right, bye, my friends. I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.